All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about the one skill that everything else in emotional intelligence is built on: self-awareness. It's really the key to understanding what's going on inside our own heads, and it lets us move through life with a lot more purpose and, well, skill. So let's get started on what it really means to know yourself.
You've been there, right? We all have. So often we're just moving through our day on autopilot, kind of reacting automatically to things, to people, to our own feelings. It's that moment when you look back at a conversation and think, wait, why did I say that? Or why did I get so worked up? That's what it feels like to navigate your inner world without a map.
So, what even is self-awareness? At its heart, it's just the ability to see your feelings as they're happening, in real time. And here's the important part. It's not about judging them as good or bad or getting lost analyzing them. It's just about observing, noticing they're there with a bit of curiosity.
I absolutely love this metaphor. It just nails the power that this gives us. That tiny split second of awareness, that moment you just recognize the feeling, that's everything. That's the space where you stop being a slave to your impulses and you actually get to choose how you want to respond.
Now, what's super interesting is that we all kind of have a default setting for how we deal with our emotions. These are our emotional styles, and they're usually shaped by our lives and our experiences. So let's take a look at the three main styles, and you can see which one sounds a little bit like you.
You can really group people into three main buckets here. You've got the self-aware, who see their moods and can do something about them. Then there's the engulfed, who feel totally swept away by their feelings. And finally, the accepting, who know what they're feeling but don't really try to change it. Let's break those down a little more.
Okay, so the self-aware style, this is the goal. This is what we're aiming for. People with this style, they just have a handle on their emotional life. They don't just feel things, they get it. And because they're so clear on what's happening, they can steer themselves out of a bad mood much more effectively.
Now, if you've ever felt like you're literally drowning in your feelings, just totally overwhelmed, then you know exactly what the engulfed style is. It's when your emotions completely take over the driver's seat, and you're just along for the ride, feeling pretty helpless and out of control. And then we have the accepting style. These folks are actually pretty clear on what they're feeling, so they have the awareness part down, but they don't really do anything about it. They might realize they're in a funk, for example, but they won't do much to try and change it, so they can get stuck there for a while.
Hey, if this roadmap is already starting to click for you, do me a quick favor and like this explainer. It's such a small thing, but it genuinely helps other people who are struggling with this find their own path to focus.
So what happens when that connection to our inner world is, well, broken? What are some of the things that can actually get in the way of being self-aware?
While one of the most incredible examples is a clinical condition called Alexithymia. And what this shows us is that awareness isn't just a given, it's a skill that depends on actual connections in our brain. For people with Alexithymia, it's like the bridge between their feelings and the part of their brain that uses words. It's just out. They feel things, but they don't have the words for them.
And this quote just captures it perfectly. Just imagine that for a second. Feeling something really powerful, but having no way to name it. Is it sadness? Is it frustration? Anger? Without a label, it's just this confusing, messy feeling of awful.
This brings us to this really powerful, kind of tragic story about a man named Elliot. He had a brain tumor that damaged the connection between his emotional brain and his thinking brain. And here's the thing. After the surgery, his logic, his reasoning, it was flawless. Perfect, even. But here's the paradox. Without his feelings to guide him, Elliot was totally paralyzed. I mean, he could spend hours deliberating over something as simple as which color pen to use or where to go for lunch. His rational mind could list out every single pro and con for every option. And that was the problem. Every single option felt exactly the same to him, completely neutral. He had no gut feeling, no emotional nudge telling him, hey, this one's better. His story is just this incredible reminder that pure logic is not enough. We need our feelings to tell us what matters. Okay, so the great news is that self-awareness isn't something you're just born with or without. It is absolutely a skill you can build. So let's talk about some real, practical tools you can use to find that inner observer in yourself. The first big tool is something called meta-awareness. And this idea of watching a storm from a safe place, it's perfect. You are not the storm, you're not the anger, you're not the sadness, you are the one watching the storm. And that little shift in perspective is a total game changer. This is what some people call your observing ego. It's that part of you that can just take a step back and notice what's happening without getting swept away. It's the huge difference between being totally consumed by anger and thinking, I am angry, versus pausing and thinking, I'm experiencing a feeling of anger right now. See the difference? That little space is freedom.
Another huge tool is learning to listen to your body. Somatic markers. That's just a fancy term for those gut feelings we were talking about with Elliot. You know, the knot in your stomach, a sudden feeling of lightness, a tightness in your chest. Those are real signals your body is sending you, telling you if a choice feels right or wrong, way before your thinking mind has even caught up.
So where do you even start with all this? Right here. This is a super simple but incredibly powerful habit you can start today. It literally takes a minute, 3 times a day. In the morning, at midday, and in the evening. Just pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? The key is not to fix it, not to judge it, just name it. That's it. Doing this consistently will build that self-awareness muscle over time.
And as you get more comfortable with that, you can start adding more tools to your toolkit. You can work on expanding your emotional vocabulary. Getting beyond just good or bad. Are you feeling frustrated, disappointed, anxious? Start to notice your own patterns. What situations always seem to trigger certain feelings? And always practice listening to what your body is trying to tell you.
Because that's what this is all about, building a system that lets you learn and achieve anything you want. Inspire it, learn it, elevate it. For more tools and resources to keep going, check us out at www.elevena.it.
So all these tools, all these ideas, they're all leading us to one really powerful destination.
Everything we've talked about really comes back to this one central idea. Self-awareness is the foundation that all the other emotional skills are built on, because it's what gives you that precious moment of choice, that little bit of space between a feeling and how you react to it.
And let's be really clear here. The goal of all this is not to become more emotional. It's about becoming more intelligent with your emotions. It's about having the right feeling for the right situation. It's about balance and managing your inner world so it works for you, not against you. So I'll just leave you with this question. The next time you feel that surge of emotion, whether it's anger or joy or anxiety, now that you're aware of it, what are you going to do with that space? What response will you choose? Because the power to choose really is all yours. So if you're ready to move beyond just surface-level learning and dive into something deeper, make sure you subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Now go out there, get inspired, and elevate your world.